Yeah.
All right, good. So I don't have the card in front of me, but I think we remember who all was on there and what happened. Okay, good. So I'm gonna start with you real quick. Let me tell you guys what we're doing. We're talking about Night of Champions, Day of Champions, whatever you want to call it. Gonna give our opinions, thoughts, results, grade, whoop de woo, whatever. So I'm gonna let my man Dub take it and kick us off with the first match. And what you got
First
for me?
one I think was the street fight, right, with Rhea and Rod.
No, I think that was the second match, but I'm not for sure.
Was it the second one?
But it doesn't matter.
We'll start there anyway because that's what I got on the top. Um, I like that match a lot. I picked Raquel. I thought Raquel was going to go over. Really, I did. Um,
I told you.
well, I think some fans was upset about that too because I was reading a little bit into it and I seen a fan commenting on one of Rhea Ripley's comments and was like they was tired of her being in the belt scene. They wanted somebody else in the belt scene. And she just tore him apart, man. She was like,
Good.
yeah, she's like, I'm Rhea Bloody Ripley. Why would I not want to be in the scene? She said, I should be the one that should be at the top of the scene.
Absolutely. And she's not lying.
No.
She's right. And to be honest, I hope this does something and turns her back heel. I think Rhea was a better heel than a babyface.
Me too. Me too.
But
And
I just figured she was gonna go over because, like I said, you can't let her lose all these matches and not be able to keep her up there like that. I know she wasn't really losing one-on-one matches, but she was losing 3 ways, 4 ways, 8 ways, 9 ways, with all that crap they do these days. So they had to push her strong and have her win. And look, I didn't think nothing was wrong with the match. I knew Roxanne Perez was going to get in there, but I didn't think it was going to be a factor.
yeah,
So
and I like that table spot they did. Man,
yeah, it wasn't bad.
that was pretty
I
cool.
I was actually nervous about that stair spot. Luckily, the
Yeah,
referee grabbed it because I was like, man, that thing's gonna fall on her.
and and that's the good part about having the right referees to watch over these matches and stuff. Even at the table spot, you could see him. He would put his hand down there and straighten out the table. You know what I mean, and not give too much away and help hold it. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, but I kind of differ there. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I don't like it when the refs do that though.
it
I don't mind him doing that with the stair spot because I didn't want it falling on. But when they're helping them like set up stuff when it comes to the ladders and shit, like, come on now.
yeah.
It's a little too much for me, but hey, it is what it is.
Eh,
But
yeah, and because I don't think they would have ever pulled that off if that ref didn't help hold that corner up over on that side or stabilize it. I think it would have slipped on them. I'm not sure, you know what I mean, but the way it looked,
right.
it was kind of doing that. And I seen him put his hand on the steps because if them steps would have fell on her, man,
Man, could
yeah,
have messed her up, bro.
sir, yeah.
So I do commend him for that. For that, I wanted him to step in, but the table spot, But anyway,
Uh,
hold on. Let me throw my old man goggles on because we got some people in the chats, and without these, I can't see those.
Emily, you, what's up, buddy?
I don't know what this whole Lamar Jackson edit thing is. I don't keep up with Lamar Jackson. I'm not a Lamar Jackson fan. I think he's a great running back.
Is
But
he? Was he Eagles?
no, he's Baltimore. He's a quarterback for Baltimore, but all he does is run the ball. But Emma the U, what's good, man?
Okay, I know him.
Moses, welcome in. Corrupted, welcome in, man. I'm just giving you.
Yeah, he just did interview with Kevin Hart on the Old Spice thing. I watched that the other night.
Got you. All right. So what's the next match? Before we go on though, I like I said, I think they had to put Rhea over, and if somebody's mad about it, oh freaking well. They used to complain about Charlotte Flair, but you keep your main best people at the
Right.
top. Now, when these other people get there and they're on the same level, then okay. But
Yeah.
most of these are not. And be honest, Raquel is not that level. I think she's good, but she's not that level.
And you know, and here's the thing too. Look how long she's been there. Why hasn't she got up to that level yet? You know.
Exactly. Hey, Trooper, welcome in, guys. Thank y'all for coming in, man. We're gonna try to make this pretty quick. So go ahead, Dub. What we got next?
We got Cody and Orton, and Cody went over on that one, which we all called that. We know that was going to happen. Uh,
Yeah,
I kind of liked it because we got to see a little bit of Cody doing little heel things. You know what I'm saying? He
I know it. I
he did
know it.
heel things, and even Randy Orton went back to doing a few little heel things too, like untying the padding off the turnbuckle and all that stuff. You know. But yeah, it was pretty cool match. I really liked that one. But you know, we all knew that Cody was going to go over on that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good match, and you know they played it out. They did a good way to get out of it without having to have people interfere or whatever. You
Right.
know, the
Some
little hitting in the turnbuckle spot or whatever. You know, so
and that's one thing that I am kind of getting sick of. But we'll talk about that when we get to the end of that fight. But yeah, other than that, oh man, I give that match right there. I think they both worked their hearts out on it, man. And I give that one a 10. You know what I'm saying? That
yeah.
was
Let
that.
me. I don't know if I would go that high because you know I'm a little more picky. But I could give it an 8.5 to a 9. But I actually had to say it's probably the best match on the card.
Yeah, yeah, because I
But
just
I mean,
love
it's
how,
it's kind of hard because I mean those guys have been in the game so long, they're too talented, you know. So I'm not taking anything away from anybody else on the card, but it's kind of hard to beat those guys. Those guys are really seasoned professionals and usually do a good job when they're not having to do hokey shit. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. All right, let's go on. I think what was next? Sammy and Karrion Cross.
I wasn't a fan of this match.
I wasn't neither.
I told you they wasn't gonna let Sammy lose, man. But I went ahead and ended up going with you on the prediction, even though I didn't want to.
Right. And that's what I paid attention through the match though, watching the match, and I don't see how they can sit and say that they're not pushing him because of bumps, because he took some pretty good bumps.
I'm
And
telling you, man. I think it's just Wade Barrett and him don't like each other or something.
yeah, I think you're right. And you could see too on his side that he had bruising from other matches and stuff. So you know he's been treating his body rough lately too. So,
Yeah,
um,
I wouldn't put no stock into that right there. I don't think that's anything with it.
just normal wear and tear, you know what I'm
I
saying?
I just don't see why they keep wanting to push Sami Zayn.
I
I
don't.
just don't see it. I never have. I never will. I mean, he's mid card at best. IC title kind of run thing, maybe a tag champ thing like he was before. But
Yeah.
yeah, well, what are we gonna do? Give him the Uso treatment and give him the belt again?
Yeah, and
I
we've already
mean,
did that with the Intercontinental belt, and then took it right back off of him. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I
It,
mean, made no sense.
he has no credibility. You know what I'm saying?
But I knew over there, man, they really behind Sammy. They wasn't gonna let Sammy lose. But my main takeaway from that match wasn't necessarily who won or who lost. It was how the outcome was.
Yeah.
Because how do you have Jay Uso and Gunther choke stuff with the arm, but then this one, his arm goes all the way down, he's like out, but then oh, here he comes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come
And
on, man.
times have we seen them drop it one time and call off the match?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. I,
That was a little controversial to me. I didn't like it. You can ask the boys when it happened. I'll let everybody know how I felt about it. So,
But
uh,
I mean, I knew it was going to happen, but I wanted Karrion Cross like you did, but I didn't think they were going to let it. So
yeah, and it made me so mad. Which Triple H took some backlash on that one too. He put a post on there. He's like, Sammy overcame adversity to beat Karrion Cross, and everybody's like, well, where was the adversity, bro? He didn't overcome no adversity. You know,
yeah,
you act like he did a big something by which Karrion Cross. He's won one pay per view match in his
I
whole.
know.
That was against Drew McIntyre years ago. So Yeah,
But anyway, I ain't got too much to say on that one. I didn't really care for the match, and damn sure didn't care for the outcome. But I knew it was going to be. But it is what it is.
and let's see. I think we had Card Hill and Oscar next. Did they? I think they went before Jacob Fatu did, didn't they?
I don't remember. I think so, but
Yeah. It was it was a messed up day that day. I was lucky
yeah,
to catch
yeah.
it, to be honest.
I had to work and everything else. I didn't get to watch it till the next day. And
I did
people, which ain't their fault, but it ruined it for me because I should have known to stay off social media. But
yeah.
it is what it is. So it kind of didn't really have no expectations going in, really watching it. So
Yeah.
that kind of hindered my thoughts on some of these matches. But
Cord Hill came out with Oscar. I can tell you one thing. I did not like how that match turned out in the end with a little bit of botches here and there. There was a couple little botches. I didn't like how that turned out, but we said Card Hill was going over. I think that's what we said, wasn't it?
well, you said Oscar.
Did I say Oscar?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
I had two wrong, and I think you only had two right. But
Um, which I thought they was going to give it to Oscar. You know what I'm saying? With her coming back like they did, like she did. You know,
well, the reason I didn't is because this is leading into a title picture. So hopefully by that time Naomi can have it and they can get their stuff done and over with and all that.
right? You know, but I was going more on the fact that WWE they usually reward their people when they come back off injuries and stuff like that.
They
A lot,
didn't Charlotte Flair.
but no, they didn't reward her at all. But I think that mouth got in the way of that too. So
Yeah.
I can't
She
say no or not. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not a wrestler. I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know what it is. I just watch. I'm a consumer. I just watch it, try to be entertained by it, and give my opinion. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Does my opinion matter? No. You know what I'm
To
saying?
you.
But
So
to me, it's important to me. So yeah. But let's
well, you
go.
know what I always say on that subject. I'm not always right, but I'm never wrong because it's my opinion.
That's right.
But
Uh,
I think it was the right move. Yeah, I mean Cargill's still green. I mean, she basically didn't have hardly any training in AEW. Imagine that. Nobody really does. But shots fired once again at AEW. But anyway, so she just got to get better, and I think it all depends on who she works with. And Oscar's, as much as people like Oscar, Oscar's not the best in ring worker to lead somebody who's green. Now,
yeah.
can she get in there and have a good match with Charlotte Flair and maybe a Liv Morgan? Yes. But as far as having to try to pull a role like a Natty Neidhart or something and being able to help them out and look good, not really going to work.
Yeah, yeah. I see where you're coming from right there.
But
Sure. But yeah. What do you think about that outfit? I hope they make a figure for Jay.
yes, yes, it'd be a good figure.
Yes, sir. I'd love to have that one right there, man, for sure.
Yeah.
And both of them come out, and I think that's what caused the botch at the end. Uh,
Was what they were wearing.
yeah, because they had to wear full clothing, and they wasn't used to holding on, and she just slipped.
Hey, what's up, Adrian? Welcome in, man. Uh, but yeah, I don't like how they have to wear the whole full fledged garbage bag suits over there. But hey, that's their culture or whatever. So hey, I mean they're paying millions and millions of dollars for this. So what can we really say? You know what I mean?
I heard that if they canceled the Night of the Champions, it was going to cost them $50 million.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money to just.
Yeah. No, I get it. So anyway, okay. So Cargill's Queen of the Ring. Um, good job. I thought that was going over. I only had two wrong. I should have only had one wrong because I should have just stuck to my guns with Sammy. But you
Yeah,
know, uh, but next up is Solo
Fatu.
uh,
And,
and Jacob Fatu.
and we thought that me and you both. I think we picked Jacob, didn't we?
Yeah, Yeah, I thought maybe they could give it to Solo if he had people interfere, but
That's what we said.
yeah,
Both said that. We'll look for the interference, and of course, that's what happened. But I didn't think they were going to debut. I knew they were going to debut the Hikalili or whatever his name is,
Hikaleo.
Hikaleo. But I didn't know that Tongaloa was coming back. I can't ever get none of them right.
I know it.
I'm
Hey,
like
I'm right there with you, man.
you know, it's
Hama Tonga and Tongaloa and Tongalua and
yeah. But yeah, man, I wasn't looking for the Hikalili dude to come back, and uh, um,
Right.
yeah, that's pretty cool though. I will say that, I don't think they ever needed JC though. I just don't see where he fits in the bloodline. You know what I'm saying? All the other guys,
Yeah, I, I feel you on that, but I'm glad to see him on the roster. I wish he was just doing kind of like they were with Bronson Reed, giving him a singles push before he got into a faction.
yes,
You know,
because he had a match Friday at SmackDown the night before, and they said that he barely even got a cheer in the crowd. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like the crowd was not into him at
And
all.
everybody was usually all over Jeff Cobb before he got there.
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
he was one of the unsigned free agents that was everybody wanted to know why he wasn't somewhere, AEW, WWE, TNA, yada yada yada. Um, but man, I this whole JC Mateo, I'm calling him Jeff Cobb. His mama named Cobb. I'm gonna call him Cobb. I don't know if his mama's real name is Cobb, but anyway, it's a joke. If you know where it's from, you understand it. If not, go watch a dang movie. But it was what it was. Decent match, but we knew, it's always going to be some kind of interference and something with that. But it is what it is. I'm glad to see him at least give Solo a push. I think that's his first win in like 14, 15 outcomes. So, hey.
here's my thing go, and this is what upsets me, and then we'll get off this subject here. It's like the bloodline thing. I'm so sick of the bloodline thing, for one. And not only that, is we're hiring people that are Rock's family, pretty much. We've already got good people on that roster that we can push already, but we're pushing just his people, just bloodline people, and to me, it doesn't seem right. You know what I'm saying? Look, we got the Wyatt Six. Nobody's heard nothing from them. You know what I mean? We barely get them like once every month, maybe 2 months. They'll come out and do some kind of shtick and be around for a week or two and then be gone for 6 months.
Yeah.
I don't get what they're doing with them. Either get rid of them completely or do something with the guys.
I mean, here's my thing with the bloodline. I'm all for these guys being in there. I think the bloodline story was one of the best stories out there in a long time. I know some people might have got tired of it. I kind of was too, to a point, but then when it was kind of gone, it was like the show just kind of dropped because there wasn't the little bits and pieces with Paul and Roman and Jay and Jimmy and Solo and all that. But I don't like them going up against each other. Why don't they all get together and then they could be freaking unstoppable? Quit fighting each other, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, and there's enough of them now to where they could do like some stuff like that. I think they're setting up for, like I said, Survivor Series is coming up. And War Games should be not too long from now, should it?
I'm not sure. Isn't SummerSlam in August?
SummerSlam. I think we got Survivor Series.
No, Survivor Series is after SummerSlam.
What's coming up in San Diego?
I don't know.
I thought that was Survivor Series.
No, Survivor Series is always in November.
Huh.
It's around Thanksgiving.
I might be bass backwards on it. You know what I mean?
I mean, unless they've changed it, but that's the way it always was before.
Because I've seen so many advertisements lately. You know what I'm saying? August the 2nd and 3rd is the SummerSlam. So
All right. So what we got left? But we got one more match so we can get off here.
Cena and Punk.
Cena and Punk. It wasn't their best match they've ever had, which we knew it wasn't going to be. Cena's lost a step. Punk has lost a step too, whether people want to admit it or not.
Yeah.
Uh, Punk's best work is always on the mic, especially nowadays. But for what it was okay. I mean, I don't mind the whole Seth Rollins thing. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I like it because it did one thing for sure. It still kept the Punk Rollins feud going. So
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So that I mean they got to have something for after they're gone. Um, but
Yeah.
I liked a lot of it too. Um, you know, especially when he came out there, I knew Punk wasn't going to go over anyway. But I'm
Right.
just tired of every one of John's matches so far has been cheating. His whole thing this year has been nothing but cheating. You know what I'm
But he's
saying?
a heel. He's a heel.
Uh,
Goddamn.
yeah. So I mean, I get it. You know what I'm saying? And we got to see a little bit. You know what I mean? He kind of fooled everybody the other night. How he did that? You know what I'm saying? Shook his hand and then went to kick him, and Punk was
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I like a lot of people don't like the run that Cena's done, and I can understand because of his work's not great. But everything else, from being a heel, he has played it good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can't knock him for that.
No, I can't neither. And how he took the win from it, you know what I'm saying? How he snuck one in the end and just walked away with that championship. You know,
Yeah, I mean, I so what do you think overall ranking? What do you give the show?
to be honest with you, I give the whole show probably a 6.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
I give it a 6. I could maybe go 5.5, but I'm gonna give it the 6. I'm usually not a big fan of the Saudi ones,
me neither.
but this one for what it was and for still being able, I commend them for everything, being able to get this thing done with all that's happened in the world and all that. So for everybody involved, wish you wouldn't have had to do it, but I'm glad you did it and everybody got back safe and all that. So
Yeah,
I give it a 6. It was okay. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. You know?
yeah. So, but yeah, man, I'm with you on that too. They need to. I don't want to say they need to do better on their shows over there because I really don't like them taking the PLEs over there, but I understand why. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
because of that money.
But does that make it, uh, they're forking out more money? Does that mean they're going to start taking all the PLEs over there or all the good PLEs over there? You know what I'm
You
saying?
know, I've heard some weird things, man. I've heard about them having a Royal Rumble over there. Now, I don't know if they were going to do it like they did the last time and do that like 50-man battle royal that they did one time, or if
Yeah.
it's going to be the actual 30-man Rumble. And then I actually heard, I don't know how true this is, but there was a rumor that there could be two WrestleManias, one here and one over there.
Let me ask you this now before we get out of here. What would you prefer better? Would you prefer a Royal Rumble match better than a Battle Royale? Me, myself, I kind of like the Battle Royale concept of putting everybody in the ring from the get go.
I don't like that.
Do you like everybody coming out?
Yes. Because uh, when you do that, there's too many bodies in there. You know, I like when you have a rumble and you can let it fill up with 10 to 12 guys at one point and then start getting rid of stuff. But when you've got 20, 30 people in there, man, people's ankles get rolled and ribs get janked up. It's just because you can't do anything.
Can't can't focus on one.
Yeah, and you got elbows and bodies coming at you that you don't expect. But that's just me. I mean, I still like a good, little rumble like the battle royal every now and then. 20 people max though, and just be careful with it. You know what I'm saying? But
All
all
right.
right, Dub. I think we've run long. I got to get out of here. I got stuff to do.
That's all I
Yes,
got for you.
he acknowledges me. I appreciate everybody. We'll come back. We'll keep these back going. I think everybody was liking them, and then we kind of got sidetracked with life and busy and all that. But we'll get it done. Dub, I always appreciate you. We the ones, and we may be leaving, but we still them uncultured heathen.